Now this is how we think sealant should be applied. First, we're going to put sealant on that pivot joint that we were talking about. We believe that this joint represents an opportunity for water to get in the system. So we're going to put sealant on that hinge point, and then we're going to tool it down. Now we tool it down with our fingers, but you might use something else. Your hinge point is covered, and sealant has been applied to the outboard edge of the nail fin, covering the pre-punched holes. This sealant application is perfect. Alright, this is our condition at the top of the door where our side nail fin and our top nail fin come together. Notice that's an open corner. Now, because we've got a pan system down there, there's a buildup of material at the lower corner. If we apply flashing corners up here, we can do two things. We can help correct this problem with the open corners here, and we can counteract and we can offset the materials down below with some additional material up above and help keep this door plumb. So all right, we've applied a little bit of sealant on the door jamb. Notice that there's sealant behind the nail fins already. So this should make for a condition that's very easy to simply apply a flashing corner on here like this. Okay, it's important to put the sill of the door in first and then push the door into the rough opening. You're going to tilt it into the rough opening. All right, now to the inside. After your door is level, square, and plumb, it's really important that you apply shims. You want to have shims behind your hinges. You should have shims behind every hinge. Now we're not done, but it's really important that you understand that shims are important, and you shim all the way around your door. Shims are important because you've got big, heavy door sash, and as the door sash swing, it's going to want the frame of the door to flex, and your shims prevent that. So shims are extremely important. They keep your door level, square, and plumb, and they stop the door from flexing as the door swings. So don't forget your shims. Okay, now we're going to talk about a concept that a lot of people really don't understand, and that's the concept of plumb. Everybody seems to know what level is, but plumb is something that a lot of guys don't get. When we talk about plumb, what we really are talking about is something that's perpendicular to the earth. That's plumb. Also, you want a door that is within cross sight. So what's really more important is that your door is within cross sight, and that means that the jamb is in the same plane all the way across the span of the opening. Hopefully it's in the same plane as your wall system as well. It should be. You need walls that are plumb and within cross sight. What we're going to show you now is a very simple technique for ensuring that your doors are within cross sight, and it's called a string test. We're applying simple mason string on the lower corner of a door, and we're going to run it all the way across, and we're going to attach it to the upper corner. And there's the other corner, and then we pull it down across the center. Okay, now then, we're holding the string on the lower corner of the door that's in the same plane as the upper corners of the string that have been stapled to the door. Now you can use tape if you want. And what you'll find is that in the center, where the string touches, it should just gently touch in the center. And you can see here, that the string gently touches in the center. Now then, let's flip the string around. And again, it should just gently touch in the center. So there's a very simple test. It's called the string test. It's an old trick in the book that a lot of old carpenters use, and I think it has a lot of good uses here. Here's the inside of our pan. Now you remember earlier we said that our pan membrane was going to come in about 3/4 of an inch deeper than the door, and this is why. We're going to fold this material upwards after we apply sealant to terminate our pan, and we're going to show you that right now. Go ahead, Percy. Take about a 1/4 inch bead of sealant and put it to the inside of the French door sill and about 6 inches up the sides. Just follow your future flash membrane. Once your sealant is applied, we're going to fold this membrane upwards. We're going to hold the membrane temporarily in place with tape. Now the tape can either remain or it could be pulled off later. After the sealant sets up, it will permanently hold this membrane in place. If the tape is left in place, it won't hurt anything. It may be covered by your finished flooring. So the tape can remain or the tape can be removed. Finished. It's time to put the final step of top flashing on. Now they've cut this top flashing, the dimension of the rough opening, plus 2 times the flashing, plus 2 inches. And that allows us to have the flashing lap about 1 inch beyond each side of the side flashing. And there we have it. That's a very finely prepared and installed French door. I would suggest to you that this installation is never going to leak, and that's what people want. Simcoe French door, outswing, installed correctly, this will never leak. Hi folks, here's a picture of a metal pan. We like metal pans. This metal pan is correctly fabricated. It has a 1 inch inside vertical lip. All the seams are soldered and this pan looks great. Just remember that metal pans are conductors of heat and cold. So in a cold climate, it may sweat, it may have some condensation, which can cause real problems with wood flooring. So if you live in a cold climate, a pan that doesn't sweat like a membrane pan may be a good choice. This is a photograph from a recent investigation of a serious French door leak due to pan damage. The next video clips cover some points I think we missed the first time through. The easiest way to determine if your door is square is to take diagonal measurements. And your diagonal measurements should be the same. We do believe that a tolerance, I mean nothing's perfect, so a tolerance could be 1/8 of an inch. It needs to be no greater than 1/8 of an inch different. It looks like this, and these are chevrons, and they're designed to be used at these upper corners. Since there's plenty of squeeze out of sealant already in place, the chevron's going to come out of the little packet it was in. And you're going to press it in place just like this. And it's always a good idea to use these. Now we're applying our cap bead of sealant on top of the nail fin. This is going to be about a 1/2 inch bead of sealant. And after this is applied, we'll butter it flat. Again, if you've watched any of our videos, you know that we really encourage you to radius the corners of your putty knife. And this is done on a grinder, very simple. But what this is going to allow you to do is butter your sealant in such a way that it kicks up against the jamb and protects this area here. This fin actually pivots or rotates, and we need to protect this area right here. This is a very important area to protect, and you'll see in just a minute how radiusing this knife goes a long way towards helping us there. Radius putty knife kicks our sealant into that corner where our rotating nail fin is. Now remember, the reason we think this is so important is we are not going to apply another strip or course of membrane flashing on top of the nail fin. This sealant application eliminates the need for additional flashing materials on top of this nail fin. Hi guys, Hey, I just watched the video that you just watched, and I have some notes of some issues that I think we need to cover a little better. First, this video really is designed for experienced installers. If you're a beginner, you probably need a little more help than this video can offer. You know, this video assumes that you know how to use tools, safety equipment, levels, power tools. If you don't know how to use those things, you should take some more steps in your training. Next, fastening the doors into place. With the doors closed, you want to set your shims, and set your shims around the perimeter of the door after you've set a couple of shims in the center between your two door sash. That's a really helpful tip there, because what the shims in the center will do is it'll stop you from over shimming at the sides and binding your doors together. Everybody does that. They don't put shims in the center, they just put shims around the perimeter, and then the doors don't operate very well. So if you put a couple of shims in the center and then shim around the perimeter, your doors will operate real nice. What you want to do is you want to pre-drill through your side jamb so that you can apply 3-inch screws through your side jamb and through shims. The pre-drilling is important because it'll make the screws go through a lot easier, and it'll make a much cleaner look to it. You should also counterseat those screws. Maybe add a plug on top of it later. But with the doors closed, you want to set your shims, apply your screws around the perimeter, and then you're going to open your doors. Make sure that the doors open and close. Check and recheck level, square, and plumb. And then you're going to apply your 3-inch screws through the hinges. There will be 1 screw per hinge, and apply your screws through your hinges into the framing. And that'll fasten your door into place really well. You're going to want to recheck and check level, square, and plumb multiple times. And then once you're sure your door is level, square, and plumb, then you're going to put your screws through the nail fin of the door. Right. Set your screws through the nail fin, 9 to 18 inches on center, and then put your cat bead sealant on top of that. Metal pans. When we talk about, if you want to use a metal pan, that's great. We like metal pans. But make sure that the inside lip is positioned in such a way that the door will sit inside of that inside lip. When the door tilts into place, you don't want to crush that inside lip. And that's really important. So not only does the pan have to fit side to side, but it has to fit the depth of your door. And you want that inside lip to be about 1/8 of an inch inside the sill of the door. Any more than that, and your flooring contractor is going to flatten it to put the carpet tack strip down or to get the tile in. Any less than that, and you're liable to crush it when the door sits into place. So if you want to use a metal pen, that's great. Make sure your inside lip is positioned correctly. And that's it. If you have any questions, you can call us anytime, 800-310-7673. Thank you very much for your support. Here's a couple of photographs I thought you might find interesting. These are of expensive copper pans that were damaged when the door was set on top of the inside vertical lip and crushed. And this photograph in particular shows a serious leak. Also remember that metal pans conduct temperature, and in a cold climate it can create condensation and damage wood flooring. Keep it in mind.